All right.
Cue the intro!
It's been a while since I said this. What is up, everybody? My name is Vanguard Wonder, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm...
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Today, I'm not...
I was like, there's that long pause. And I'm just like, are you not going to introduce me? Fine.
I was taking a sip of water. I was like, I'm not only introduced by my cup of water, I'm also with one of my good friends. You may know him. I'm sure you love him. It's Ezel Senpai.
Insert catchphrase here!
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to say wubble of a dub dub, but I'm just like, no, come on. We're better than this.
No.
We're better than this.
I'm not even sure about being better. I think copyright would kill me more than anything.
I don't think that you can copy strike a catchphrase.
Oh, YouTube will try.
Oh, boy.
They will try.
They will try, and they will fail.
Yeah, I only got 46 subscribers. What are you gonna do? Take away my monetization? Oh wait, I don't have any.
Not that I need it. Just set up a Patreon. You'll be fine.
Off of our random BS. So, the stream Overdress is finally coming. We finally got all the details. We know about it. I'm sure people have seen hundreds of videos. People are discussing it. But here's our take. Here's our unique, 100% original thoughts.
AKA free content.
Exactly. Yeah, so, honestly, I don't know how to transition. I'm doing this off the top of my head, as I do most of my videos. I have some points here I want to bring up about Overdress that I want to discuss. And we'll just see where it goes from there. Like I said, I'll edit this how I please.
Of course.
So,
Of course.
first up about Overdress, I'm going to be explaining this for all the people who didn't watch the stream or didn't have the chance, whatever. I'm going to be explaining all the details.
Or live under a rock.
That too. There are some people who just refuse to use the internet. And to that, I salute to you.
Standard stands.
But the first point I want to bring up about is the lore. Now, like I said, for those of you who don't know, the lore is this is 3,000 years after Geese has been defeated, and we are now in the new era of Cray, where we have sorry.
Lots of stuff are going on. So essentially, after D's, Messiah goes back to sleep, and we enter this weird time period where, oh hey, you're divine protection? Nah, bro, you lost that. Ultimate striding? Nah. Diff riding? No, you don't get protection anymore. I'm going back to sleep.
I was only around for that part. Y'all on your own now.
3,000 years later, nations have changed, merged,
For
somehow
some reason,
established
Aqua forces
cities on
together.
flying dolphins. Established a flying city on a whale, which is probably the perfect, just
It's like the biggest flex.
Is the biggest flex, and they know it.
It's like,
And
oh,
so,
you got your
like,
water. We're gonna be in the air.
So for those who don't know, originally, because I played since the beginning, the very beginning.
Yeah, you are a veteran compared
At the
to
dawn of Vanguard, there were only 2 trial decks, and they both were $25 each because you couldn't find them for any cheaper on eBay.
me. Ouch. Yeah, so I got my deck. eBay
And
is
so
a
what would
wonderful
happen?
thing.
Depending.
Can be.
So what would end up happening is every so often they would, as they release cards, they would come out with this little stories about the card, the unit, world building, expanding, and a lot of good storytelling. My God, you go back to some of the units, like particularly Blaster Blade.
Oh my God, Blaster Blade's lore. That man was like Goku.
But better.
But better, with kind of less plot armor. At least not as noticeable.
That's true. So when we got so the lore was kind of just the story that was being told, kind of behind the scenes. As you're watching the anime, you're seeing the card fights, you're seeing characters interact, you're seeing new units, but on the lore side, you see kind of the behind the scenes. You learn more about the units, you grow attached to them, you learn about their thoughts, their fears. You feel for them. And so whenever something happens with them, it's like, oh no! Gurgit got stabbed! Again!
Again!
So So Mommy Amaterasu made him some limitless power sun armor.
And thus we got
Anyway,
Sunrise Ray Knight Gurg.
Radiant Sword.
Radiant Sword. Oh, I
Sorry.
thought. I guess Sun Armor. I don't know. But
So when the reboot happened, they stopped doing the lore, which was really weird. But it was kind of understandable at first because, this is just a reboot. We know what these units are. We know who they are, generally speaking. But as the reboot went on, as Standard went on, we were introduced to a plethora of like original units that we've never seen before. I actually have a list written down. I'm gonna skip the Bermuda Triangle just because they got their anime.
oh Jesus Christ,
So,
yeah.
and that's as close to lore as you're gonna get for Calico Pastoral.
They sing. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. So like Astral Poets, for instance.
Oh, yeah, Astral
Like,
Pose, yes.
and I'm kind of branching them together along with Valkyrion because there's lots of them: Isabel, Godhand, Hanzo, Malkuth Malek, Lost Legend.
Lost Legend definitely was an interesting one.
Lost Legend, Spinning Valiant, Dead Heat, Anger Blader, Gunning Collio, Jamio Congo, Dialaner, Hyuga, Brufus, Full Bronto, Jernod Bakersher, Full Bronto, and Jernod Blade Master Soen. I just went through all the VRs.
It's only the VRs that got new stuff. Who cares about the one rare that came in a filler set?
Well, I put in Lost Legend as an honorary just because.
Oh, yeah.
So these units have stories, but we don't know. Like Heroes was a whole new thing.
Yeah, the whole hero strategy was completely different.
Brand new, and I'd love to learn more because, like in the Shinamon arc, Astral Poets and Isabel had this background. They had this connection with the planet Krei, and it would have been really great to kind of explore it. So now that lore is returning, what now?
Sorry, I was gonna say it was honestly I found it kind of weird how just there are these like little poets thing they were able to read the stars, whatever. They just had some kind of like on-site vendetta with the furries from Great Nature. It was it was a weird complex they had.
I think what it was is you can kind of take it as religion versus science.
Yeah.
To a degree, or I wouldn't. Okay, maybe not religion per se, but
maybe not specifically religion.
More facts.
Yeah.
Science.
Beliefs versus
evidence.
Facts.
Belief versus Belief versus facts, for sure. So now that we have lore coming back. This is great because now we can get some answers.
Yeah, now we can have all these explanations we've always wanted. Especially with all the new units having their own lore. It'll be great to honestly sit down and read that like a book.
Oh yeah. Well, what's cool is supposedly we're getting like a free manga that's supposed to explain this 3,000-year gap, more in depth. So we'll keep our eye out for that. So before we dive really more into the lore, I just want to. I need to state this theory, and I think it makes sense. You were in my stream earlier, so you probably heard it.
I was, yes.
Okay, so this is a mild spoiler warning for those who haven't watched Vanguard. If you haven't watched it,
this is your warning. This is your warning.
This is your warning. Pause. Go watch all 25 episodes.
It won't take you long, I promise.
Skip to this time. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Here we go. Shuka blended the original series with the reboot timeline reality shenanigans. Shuka is a card carrier that can hop around to different timelines, time periods, and dimensions, apparently, realities, and get cards from them. This is why throughout the If series, she was able to summon out the standard versions of the Stride Bearers, during those fights, like Chrono Jet, Asha, Alt Mile, Luard for 3 episodes.
Because why not?
Why not? Why not? etc., etc. Or Gold Paladins from Gold Paladin.
The Gold Paladins from Gold Paladin.
So because of this, I believe that she's essentially stitching together the history that was G, connecting it to this weird reboot dimension world thingy, and by the end of it, it all gets kind of sewn together like stitches. Because, and this isn't the first time something like this has happened. According to lore, see, this is why lore is important. According to lore, so at the Lore was very important in Legion Mate, if anything.
Oh yeah.
In lore, Link Joker failed season 3, and they're like, huh, Blaster Blade stopped us. What can we do?
We'll take Blaster
Let's
Blade.
go, let's go in with a stronger invasion force. Now let's go with the deleters. Let's build a fucking time machine. Go back in time and kidnap him. And make him one of us. Idea of the year, folks! Idea of the year!
Chaos Breakers looked at everyone and was like, guys, I have a great idea.
It wasn't even Chaos Breaker.
It
was Imaginary Flame Dragon! Imaginary Flame Dragon!
Are you not even Glendios? Are you kidding me?
Okay, so Glendios was created by Chaos Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
That got defeated. After Glendios got defeated, Chaos Breaker went into hiding.
As you do.
He didn't appear until the awakening of Harmonix Messiah, and then then being able to dip ride in G to possess Noah.
Oh yeah,
that's why when you watch GZ, Chaos Breaker has such a hate boner for Kai and Aichi.
Yeah, because like Kai, I had you for a bit. We were supposed to do this together. Aichi, just fuck you, man.
You guys are so precious. It's so cute. Squirm. Here, let me give you a little bit of hope. Here's an imaginary gift. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You wanted that.
Sorry, not sorry.
I don't share my toys.
So, in the events of Legion Mate, it created an alternate timeline, just kind of like how... Think of it like Endgame. You know, in that one scene where Hulk's talking to the Ancient One, and she's like, oh, if you remove one of the Infinity Stones from the main timeline, you create a branch reality. That's exactly what happened. Blaster Blades and Infinity Stone confirmed.
Blaster Blades and Infinity Stone?
Well, okay, if you were to put it in that sort of logic, yes. Because what ended up happening is... Because Blaster Blade is the sword of light.
Yeah.
He's a swordsman of light. Without Blaster Blade, a lot of things that happened previously wouldn't have happened. Because of this, one of the sages, Xenon, who got remade and reboot, had to summon out replacement ones from another reality, aka the Gold Paladins from Gold Paladin, Percival and Adlavel. And they also brought back an old Sanctuary Dragon, Thingsaber. Thingsaber ended up blessing Percival, and that's how we got Prominence Glare and Core, technically.
Yeah.
So at the end of Legion Mate, I know it's a long video. It's gonna be long. Have fun editing this.
Oh, I will.
What ended up happening was once Blaster Blade came back, and it's really weird. The timelines ended up merging together, as if they all happened all at once, which is really weird. Very, very weird. It's like the history of the Blaze Paladins. That's what they were called.
The Blaze Paladins.
They were called Blaze Paladins because the blue flame.
I guess, yeah, fair enough. Honestly, I think I prefer that.
So that history did get made, but I think they ended up vanishing.
Yeah.
At some point because time travel, timey-wimey stuff. But all the events that happened were in everybody's memory. So if you look at the Blaster Blade's lore, you see, like, you're talking with a lot of the Paladins from Blaze Paladin. You're learning about all the, like, reverse remnants that are still wandering around. Dark Zone still got some funky bunch over there. Lukier invited Ezel to a circus show, which I have theorized that it's a thank you for, being Brand Ezel and unlocking everybody.
Man, that's a very weird thing to hear, considering I just finished a Silverthorn deck not too long ago.
Well, lore-wise, it's true. Lukier was the first one to be unlocked by Grand Ezel, which, to be fair, may have been in a weakened state because of Mordred Phantom and Raging Storm Dragon. Maybe. That's still unconfirmed. Show-wise, it makes sense. But anyways, so this is why lore is important. Lore is important because it gives us this fantastic world that we don't necessarily get to see in the anime.
Exactly, like...
We saw a lot of it in G.
Oh yeah, there's lore galore.
And there in the reboot. And
that's why the card fights were so short.
Yeah, exactly. So having lore come back is a very big deal. And one of my biggest hopes is that they do kind of like, oh, hey, here's some supplementary lore for exclusive units from the reboot. like the original exclusive unit.
I remember hearing the first time, because I've said this many times before, my first deck was Liberators, but I grew up with the Blaster Liberators. So when I first heard of Bluish Flame, I thought, what kind of fucking name is that? They have blue flames, but it's kind of like blue-ish, so it's not exactly blue. It's just
So blue-ish. Okay, so here we go into the science class, folks.
Oh yeah.
So bluish flames, the color, flames themselves, they emit a heat.
Mm-hmm.
The hotter the flame, the brighter the light gets.
Yeah, and blue is supposed to be the hottest flame you can get to.
Blue is about the second hottest.
Oh yeah, there's like a white flame.
It's because there's the white hot, and you've heard the phrase, the white hot intensity of 1,000 suns.
Yeah.
Usually used in terms of, writing threatmantic emails to your crush.
Sure, can't relate, but sure.
I have to sneak in as many references as I possibly can in this, because if we don't have references to things die off.
Got to keep your age alive.
So bluish implies that, their flames are really hot, but it can get hotter. It's like an evolution thing. That's why when core prominence glare appear, their flames are more white than blue, but they're still bluish.
Yeah.
So, science.
They're literally a definition of almost there.
Almost there. It's hot enough.
I'm almost there.
Hot. Overlord with his flames? Nah, we burn it brighter.
We're just red, sometimes orange. We do not touch blue.
So having lore come back is very important to backstory, to world building, to just getting attached to these characters that we don't get to see that often. We're going to be staring at them for the longest time as we play, so it's like we may as well get to know them.
Yeah, one card game that does lore really well, and I think people know what I'm talking about, is Yu-Gi-Oh! In every Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, there is some kind of lore explanation about the deeper meaning of these cards, and it was always so fun to hear, because you got your mind blown, because these cards were actually real things. Like, back when I was 8 years old, and I found the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Show on Netflix. I don't even know if my time adds up there, because I don't think Netflix was a thing when I was 8, but...
it probably was, but
maybe.
It was probably by mail-in DVD.
Probably. But I just remember watching the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, and aside from getting pissed off, they never...
Are we talking season 0?
I'm talking... No, season 1. The Dual Monsters only Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I remember watching
season
that.
Season 0 is a trip.
Season 0 is great. But I remember just hearing all about the Egyptian gods, and I was just so invested. Then here comes like GX, 5Ds, and Zexel talking about all their lore, and it's just so great to hear.
It is. So the cool thing, we're diverging into Yu-Gi-Oh, but we can connect back.
We can.
There's a lot of interesting trivia about Yu-Gi-Oh that actually relates to Vanguard, believe it or not. So with Yu-Gi-Oh, they don't necessarily print. I'm not sure if they do it in Japan, but we didn't get it here. But they would tell a story through the pictures and the flavor text if it was a vanilla monster.
Yeah.
One example was Warrior Digraph and DD Warrior Lady. Those two cross paths so many times. Warrior Digrapher goes down all these different paths, becoming a fiend, a dark warrior, a warrior of light, all these different things, crossing paths with the DD monsters. It's crazy.
I know these jokes get old, but I swear, if you do not have the flavor text of Dark Magician memorized, I cannot say you're a real Yu-Gi-Oh fan.
The ultimate wizard in terms of attacking and defense.
He is literally on screen representing me. I chose him for a reason.
Not to go back too much, but I remember when GX was out, and I was playing in tournaments. I was 14. I was at that prime Jaden age, so I let it get to me because I was a weeb. I was a weeb kid in high school.
Oh yeah, no.
So when Neos came out, that was my thing. That was my jam.
I am
And I would
everything
always
Neos.
play. It got to the point where my friends kept calling me Neos, but over time it just became Neo because people forgot the S for some reason. Whatever.
Fair enough.
So then it's like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Even when we got into 5Ds, I was playing, John Synchron and stuff. That was all of 5Ds was John Synchron.
Yeah, because that was like, Junk Seymour was the best card to have in that era.
Well, it wasn't just that, but it was more of this relatability because I had just turned 18.
Yeah.
I graduated high school. I'm an adult. Ah! and then it's like, wait, there's this protagonist who's an adult too? And he's on a motorcycle? Yo, I want a motorcycle.
Card games on motorcycles.
The best thing I could do was strap a dual disc onto a bicycle, ride my bike down San Jacinto Avenue.
Bro, you were lucky enough to get a dual disc. Those things were expensive.
I had two of them.
Oh.
One I unintentionally stole from a friend.
Ew.
Well, we were high school friends, and he let me borrow it. And,
fair enough.
He
just never got it back.
He just never got it back.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Totally different meaning back then. Yeah, but still. so there was that, and then there's the GX dual disc, which I love so much because it fits sleeves.
Honestly,
it was great.
Yeah, they did fit sleeves, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been more stylish. I know there's so much you can do with a product and have it still operate as wanted to be, but I feel like there could have been a bit more flair to it.
The rarest dual disc that I believe is out there, is, or at least in English, is the 5D's dual disc.
I believe so, because the 5D's dual disc was just like a retrain of the original, and not much was changed. Yeah, but better.
It was stylish. It expanded a lot of the important zones.
Yeah.
It fit the sleeves. It
came with an extra deck slot.
Strap. Extra deck slot, but it was very rare here. So I'm getting far off topic. Showing my age.
We're kidding.
When I used to do UD tubing, one of my favorite videos was just me holding my camera, riding my bike with no hands, just talking about cards, and just randomly shouting card games on motorcycles, looking like a complete weirdo. But back in 2010, that was normal. That was fine.
What could have been if Vanguard wasn't a thing?
2 years later.
We could have gotten Neo's Senpai.
Oh man, I think before I started the page, or no, shortly after I started the page, I started to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit. I was like, oh, this could be fun, and I had thought about, what if I were to make a page for Yu-Gi-Oh, because that could be fun. That could add a fun twist to it, and I was like, I can never think of a name, like a proper name. I'm like, okay, well, what are some of my favorite cards? Some junk. I mean, you can do a lot with junk. You can make a lot of inappropriate jokes. Warrior. Followed up with that. So I never could. I never could figure out a name, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because
we won't be here now.
Yu-Gi-Oh was fun and all, and
Yu-Gi-Oh can be very fun.
But someone, like, I was talking to a friend earlier, and they're like, "Well, one of our other friends said they don't like the new Vanguard stuff because it's BS." And I'm just like, okay, well, if that's their opinion, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Let people have their opinions. It's not hard.
It's that they're forced to buy new cards because they gotta play in the tournament. Dude, we don't even have tournaments because of Bermuda 19. And
God, I hate that name so much.
But it's appropriate.
It is appropriate, but God, I hate it.
But it's true. So within that, that kind of got me down a little bit today. And it's like, I used to play, like, okay, from 5Ds on, I was actually trying to play professionally.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point where it was, I think, in the middle of Zexal, where Dragon Rulers first came out.
Ooh.
I had just started stepping away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had been out for maybe a few months, and then a friend of mine tried to get me back in to play a variant of Jump Doppel with Dragon Rulers, which was an interesting idea, but it was like, this is way too fast. This is too good. This is not healthy. No.
This doesn't feel right.
I just got myself a Gold Paladin trial deck and a pack
Ooh.
that had Halo Shield Mark. I think I'm gonna go
Oh
to
yeah.
Vanguard. That was the deciding factor, was pulling a perfect nerd.
Vanguard for me, it was actually recommended to me by one of my elementary school friends, and this is just to show our age difference. By the time he was a full grown adult, I was still in diapers.
Oh man, I can't imagine, like, it's weird to think about because like when I was 10 or 11 ish, Yu-Gi-Oh had just kind of come out, and that was mostly my life up until my early 20s. But to have somebody go through childhood with Vanguard
Yeah.
is crazy to think about,
The
and
f-
it puts things into a whole different perspective.
the funny thing though is Vanguard. When my friend first told me about it, he told me it was Yu-Gi-Oh. He told me it was a new Yu-Gi-Oh series. So I was like, huh, Yu-Gi-Oh Vanguard. That sounds interesting. And I decided to give it a look.
That sounds heck of a lot better than Zexal. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh god.
Easier to pronounce.
He's Zeexal. I hate that so much.
So like my gripe with Zexal is the X is actually just a symbol. It was just
Yeah.
Zale. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was
The
Zeal.
X is silent. It's a symbol. It's Zeal. Zexal. Oh, okay, sure, whatever.
Zexal.
So a bit of trivia. Well, even more trivia because we're going off topic, but whatever.
Oh, heavily.
So I was watching 5Ds in its final arc when Cardfight Vanguard initially aired in 2011. And this was just after the big earthquake in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the timing for it may have been, it was off, but it was also spot on too.
It it had mixed feelings. Like they're releasing a game as right now of all times.
I mean, maybe it was a few weeks in or something happened. I'm not entirely sure the logistics of it. But I remember a few months later, I was looking up. So the cool thing in Yu-Gi-Oh back then was looking up orcas or original art,
Mm-hmm.
or to put it simply, just like, oh hey, we're gonna turn a popular monster into an anime girl. Nice to see that tradition hasn't completely.
I don't think, as long as anime is a thing, I don't think it'll die out.
So I was on Google, and I was looking up TG Blade Blaster.
Oh yeah.
And going through the pictures and how Google worked, I ended up finding a fan art chibi blaster blade. And I thought, oh my god, this thing is amazing looking. It looks like Mega Man X. It looks like Seto Kaiba.
Once again, just showing our age difference.
But with Mega Man X's armor and a sword. Oh my god. So I was like, what is this? What is this? Cardfight, I think I remember hearing about that. So I looked it up and I instantly was like, I am sold. I binged like the first 35 episodes, and the first episode I caught up to was when Blaster Dark was revealed
Oh
for the
god,
very first time.
So cool.
Now, if people want to complain about Premium, about losing before they hit grade 3, just remember that in the original anime, Ren beat Kote, who's playing D-Police, on his grade 2 turn.
It was disgusting. It just showed you how much Aichi was facing up against, and just see that man slice down the mech we all know and loved, without even trying, no less.
Off screen.
Off screen. It didn't deserve to be on screen.
So the last bit of little Yu-Gi-Oh! Vanguard trivia before we move on to the next topic is was actually a very interesting one. So this connects back to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga. There was a spin-off manga called Yu-Gi-Oh! R. If you had to place it in the timeline of the anime, this would have been where the Seal of Orichalcos would have been.
I remember hearing about Yu-Gi-Oh! R. I never thought it was real. I thought it was a fan fiction.
No, it was a spin-off. It's a spin-off manga drawn by Akira Ito, who co-created Cardfight Vanguard.
Oh my god, I'm just thinking of Seto Kaiba and a Kai like design. That's weird.
Well, it was more like Yugi. Like if you were to look up Yu-Gi-Oh! R, you can kind of see like the sharp
Yeah.
angles, the character face. another bit of trivia is Kazuki Takahashi was actually inspired to draw by by Araki, who created JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So
That's great.
through this chain of what is it, the degrees of separation, Vanguard is a third degree reference to JoJo.
It's kind of there. You have to look for it, but it is
You
there.
have to dig for it, but it's there.
You've got to try and see it.
So lore, ultimately, too long didn't read. It's important for the backstory of the game. It adds more elements, more depth to the units. Very important. Big brain.
Very important. Very excited to see what they're going to do with it, especially with 3,000 years. I'm sure a lot happened in that time.
Well, like, one of the things that I pointed at, or like I thought of, is kind of shortly after the stream, was this 3,000 year discrepancy. Now, what I mean by discrepancy is, if you look at the Earth, the characters, the humans, it seems to be in a near future, but it's that ambiguous near future right now, but maybe a few years later, kind of future.
I'm just waiting to hear about all the war crimes one nation did to another, because I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Yo, the United Sanctuary had so many civil wars, and most of them were caused by Shadow Paladin being like, hey, there's this dark thing in the sky. Hey, join under Shadow Paladin and we'll take care of it. And Royal's like, no. We're not going to join Shadows. I think we all should just get together and just deal with the problem.
And Shadow's like, nah, we're doing it like us.
MLB came out and it's just like, okay, we're doing this. We're just going to solve it.
Where it's like,
dealt with it.
I don't know what the argument was in the first place, but it probably didn't matter. Let's just go take care of this.
Let's just go take care of it. Forget your philosophy. Forget your call to action. Let's just deal with the problem. And then shortly after, they disappeared. And that's no Paladin came around.
If that doesn't shout politics to you, that's how politics really is. We're arguing over nothing just for a third party to come in and be like, why don't we just do this?
Why don't we actually just solve the problems?
Like, what we're arguing about has nothing to do with the problem.
Yeah, so like, even in that sense, it connects back to the anime through this backstory. There's one instance where the anime is directly referenced, and that was in G. Stride. No, it wasn't Stride. It was it was Stride. Was it Stride?
I didn't watch G, so
I think it was somewhere between Strigate and G-Nex, where they meet up with Kanzaki, who's voiced by Dio.
Of all people.
Of all people. Which is just fantastic.
Which led to the meme of, you thought it was I. You thought it was me, Kanzaki. But it is I, Dio.
Clarence Sword. So Claire, this had to have been during Nex, because was actually trying to, the bad guys were trying to diff ride Clarence Sword Dragon to Kanzaki.
Mm-hmm.
But because of Kanzaki's strong will, he was like, no, you can't enter this without proper permission.
Remember, kids,
Denied.
weakness is a sin.
Weakness is a sin. Your weakness isn't getting permission from Messiah to be blessed.
And sadly, I don't think we're getting that promo that makes Claret Sword good, so I'm sorry, all Claret Sword players.
Give it time. Give it time once things start dying down, which we'll talk about in card releases when we get there.
Oh yeah.
But give it time. So just the fact that Kanzaki's sheer willpower was just like, okay, yeah, we can't invade this time. Hey, apostles, we gotta think of another guy. We gotta do something else.
I was like, who we got? We got Shiranui. Sure, let's go.
So lore is very important.
Yeah, lore.
Again,
the general summary here is lore is very important and is very entertaining. All right, but the lore kind of goes into point number 2, because now we have no more clans. We have only nations now. And Vanguard has also developed
only
into
nations.
A third format. How do we think that's going to work?
Okay, so it's kind of morbid when I say it like this, so forgive me. But So we're not going to have any physical Spring Fest this year. It's all going to be online. I was corrected by Chris and Different about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in doing so, that made sense. But once June passes, once we get into July, Buddy Fight is officially unsupported by Bushiroad.
Mm-hmm.
With how Bushiroad runs their physical events, if everybody's smart and wears their damn face masks, so in the event that we do have a physical event in fall, for us in California, it's mostly probably late November, early December.
Yeah, mostly.
What will end up happening is they could manage it. They could go. One day would be like white shorts and the Vanguard format. Day two would be the other two formats. So I'd imagine it would go something like white shorts and V premium, aka current standard.
Mm-hmm.
Day two would be new standard and premium, polar opposites. I think that's how they could do it. Premium is normally like a day two kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where or they could get YS and standard, and then B premium and premium. But I think they would separate the premiums to prevent confusion.
Yeah, but by the time, if and when we do get physical events back, I'm sure enough support will have come out for there to be something there for the new Vanguard format as well as the others.
And like I say this in an earlier stream, it's an unpopular opinion based on what I've found.
Mm-hmm.
But if Bushy's not able to sustain 3 Vanguard formats, they could easily just be like, okay, hey, V format or V premium and premium, yeah, you guys are just premium. Sorry, everybody who just wanted to play in the reboot. You're dealing with Strides, you're dealing with Yeez, who is irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening, which honestly I don't think would be. I will say I don't want it to come to that.
You standard fans wanted more interaction. Well, hey, let me introduce you to G guards. Let me introduce you to a wonderful tool called stand triggers.
Let me introduce you to a board lock.
We have better like the cool thing is we have answers now. We have more answers now if we were to combine. But again, that's an unpopular opinion. Do I think it could happen? Maybe. I mean, people are complaining that
I can definitely see it happening.
Standards bad.
Like I said, I don't want it to come to that, but I do foresee Bushiroad having some trouble maintaining 3 separate formats.
I mean, it can be done. It can be done.
It can definitely be done.
It depends on how they want to go about whatever the day one is going to be.
Now, I made this point before I believe I started a YouTube channel, and this is kind of off topic from the main topic about the third format normal clans. Bushiroad. I very much doubt you're watching this, but if one of your employees happens to stumble across this, space out your sets more. I should not be shelling out money every single month for a clan I really want to play.
So they actually did fix this. They did fix that.
I'm sure they said some, but it was in Japanese and I can't read.
Well,
Japanese.
okay, so essentially what they're doing is we're getting clan selection in both volumes in late March, early April, respectively.
Yeah.
May 14th is when the transition starts for new premium with Overdress, where all 5 of the starter decks come out, all 5 at once. For $4 each.
Well,
that is a steal.
That is a steal. You could buy all of them if you just do some couple chores around your house. I'm personally not going to buy all of them. I'm probably going to buy all at one.
Because who needs Bermuda, right?
Yeah, I mean, who needs Bermuda? Who needs Bermuda? That's some foreshadowing right there, channel. You'll see that later.
But well, I just want coral. Shut up.
I want my melody, but the sonatas are really hard to find lately.
Yeah. So, getting the 5 at the start, and then about a week later, near my birthday, ironically, we're getting the first booster.
Hey.
And then I think they said that sometime in June or July they're coming out with. I think in June they're coming out with a special, like a festival collection thing exclusively for Overdress.
Oh, that's cool.
Not quite a booster, but like just like something extra.
Yeah, a little
So
small thing.
I imagine it would be like, oh, hey, here's some extra boss units, here's some support cards.
Yeah.
Cool.
We won't try with this set, but you'll have it.
And then after that is the second booster. Then we get the first V collection, which will bring back Raging Form Dragon and Tetra Drag Dragon.
I knew I made a good choice when I decided not to sell Mordred. I'm saying that right now.
I kept my I wasn't gonna be a big Shadow Paladin main until Mordred came in. Mordred was the reason
Mordred is
that
great.
I
Love him.
stuck with Shadow Paladin. Like I like Blue Blood, don't get me wrong, but Mordred
is a dad. Let's be honest here. But
yeah, sure.
The main reason I'm so happy about selling Mordred.
Mordred's a dream. Mordred's a dream daddy.
Oh yeah, he could be in that game all day.
So, and then I think sometime in August or September we're getting the third booster.
Somewhere around the time.
Along with a trial deck with the Bermuda Triangle, Whale City.
I completely forgot about that. Like I remember seeing something about Bermuda. I didn't know it was a trial deck, so that's news to me actually. That's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. So the start deck, I actually found some information about it. The start decks are complete. But there's only one triple rare in it.
Well,
and I'm assuming
makes
it's
sense.
the main grade 3.
Yeah, I would assume so, or the main grade 2, however they want to play it.
If you want to get the foils, you should buy 4. But honestly, you could just go common and just ask your friend, hey, can I have your common?
So do they mean complete as in it comes with the draw PGs too?
We don't know that.
Because I would say it's a little too much value for only $4.
We don't know. We have to wait for more information, but Mr. Mori, the new game producer, who saved Shadowverse in its worst meta and made it an esports game, made it like a top esports game. So I think we're in good hands with him at least.
Oh yeah, I think we'll be good. Hopefully, power creep won't be such a problem as it was before.
I mean, the one thing is that power creep is a thing to keep an eye on. It's just you have to maintain how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So
looking at you, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Go away, Healthy Fibrets. See you in March when you're on the list.
You are the definition of power creep in card games, Yu-Gi-Oh. Magic is a whole another level. Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know much about Magic, so I'm not going to comment on it, except I think The Walking Dead. And that's all I have to say. So you know, 3 formats is interesting. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but now I have to buy new cards to play in the new format. No, you don't. You can just play, you know, your V Premium, and
yeah, you can still have fun.
It's as if nothing happened. But what about? But what if my locals only wants to play the new standard? Well, then play the new standard.
Play new standard, or go find another locals.
Or go find another locals.
For some people, that may be hard.
What if I don't have a locals? What if a locals is only like 2 hours away? Well, then that's your problem.
Yeah, we can't do much for you at that point.
You can remote fight.
Exactly.
So we have options, and you know, honestly, like keep an eye on premium formats because how they worded things. So okay, premium, for those who don't know for some reason, is a mix of old and new cards.
Yes.
That's also going to include Overdress. Now, how they worked it out, because it's still a clan system, how they made it work is you can use cards in clans that correspond with the nation. So, for example, all of Keter Sanctuary can be used in all the United Sanctuary clans. Royal, Shadow, Gold, OTT, Angels, Genesis.
Yeah, so if you want to confuse the hell of your opponent by bringing out Bastion, who straight up looks like Gablade, Be my guest.
Definitely.
Where it's like, I've done all soul charging, now I ride Bastion. That looks like a real paladin. Because it is. But it also isn't.
He is all paladins, and then some. So, and that's going to be a cool thing too, because in terms of deck building,
Deck building is
there's
definitely
gonna
going
be
to change.
so much potential. Like, so to keep in mind, okay, so in the new standard, there's the guaranteed ride,
Yes.
and the ride deck.
I did actually want to
That's
talk about
only-
that, yes.
So that's only still in the new standard.
Mm-hmm.
So the ride deck is only for the new stuff.
Yeah, you can only use in the Overdress format. I don't want to see anybody trying to pull that shit in tournaments for V series. I'm not that guy, but I will rule shark the hell out of you.
Yo, before the clarification, we were just like, yo, can you imagine like all the shenanigan decks that explode at grade 2? Yo, you get guaranteed Bowmans or Wonder Ezel.
It'd be
Dude,
so
guaranteed
broken.
Superior Ride. Heck yeah.
Ezel gets so
do you
broken
imagine
so quickly.
all the classic Superior Ride cards? Can you imagine how consistent Spectral Deep Dragon would be?
Just put every card you want to ride. Forget the RNG, just go for it.
So the cool thing is, like, that's only staying in new standard for Overdress.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is great because that makes the game a hell of a lot easier for new players. Easy to learn. They kept the mulligan the same way. They changed how the starter works. So essentially, if you go first, your starter is vanilla.
Yes.
If you go second, you draw a card. There's no quick shield in it because you don't need it.
Honestly, I'm still kind of conflicted about the whole going second. You get to draw because you're so special going second.
So okay, the argument for it is in terms of going first in standard.
Mm-hmm.
You get your imaginary gift first. Yeah, you don't get the draw or you don't get the quick shield, but you get so much advantage. And I think this stems from like Luard and Gerduit and Gavria. Those decks go first. Yo, you might die right then and there.
You are not in for a good time. Trust me, I've killed someone on grade 2 with Luard. It's disgusting to do.
The way to counteract it is to make going second better.
But
I think it's a fair way to do so. I think it's fair.
I see what they're trying to do, but my whole thing is not only do you get the extra card, but you get to attack on the second turn of the game. And if you already have a card up on your opponent, no matter if it's just 1 card, 2 cards, however many cards, you're still a card up, which still could allow you to do more. While your opponent is stuck with just their basic 5 cards, you could have like 6 by the time your turn ends.
Yeah, well, because I mean, what's going to happen is you start off with your opening hand of 5. You're going to discard 1 to ride from the ride deck. Hold on, 6 in the opening instead of 5. You draw. You discard 1 to ride. So it's still the same as a typical turn. As a typical going first turn.
Yeah, I'm sure. If there's going to be a huge problem with it, we'll see.
I don't think there's going to be. I don't think there will be. This is I don't want to say this is like Yu-Gi-Oh's way of saying, oh, the first player doesn't draw on the very first turn.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but it isn't like that because you still get to draw on your first turn. You just don't get your starter skill to activate.
Yeah, you just don't get the on-ride draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Which,
and since there's a quick field ticket, you're not gaining that much advantage going second.
Yeah, depending on how this game goes, it could not even matter who goes first or second. Which would be a nice change.
It absolutely matters.
Yes. Depending on which deck you're playing, if you're playing Overlord, you want to go first. If you're playing... I don't know what deck prefers. Mordred. Yeah, if you're playing Mordred, you want to go second.
Exactly. Like, Gertrude, you can kind of go either way. But actually, hold on. Now that the restrictions in place, Gertrude wants to go second.
Yeah.
So now, in my notes that I wrote down, we talked about the 3 format thing. There's something for everybody, which is really good. And premium format is right now best format by default until new standard actually starts rolling.
Yeah, Overdress will just basically allow players to dip their toe in the water, so they don't. They're not like forced. I don't want to say forced, but they don't feel like they have to overly commit to it. But if you're spending basically $5 because tax to play a
Yeah,
game that could be really fun, then as you play more of it, you could say, "Hey, I want to try this format. Hey, I want to try this format," and you're allowed to elevate your gameplay because you'll be able to think more with more cards at your disposal here.
exactly. So that's going to be the thing. The cost of entry is far easier in Overdress than it will be any
Yeah,
other time. I also want to point out that Kidani, the one of the head people of Bushiroad, has gone on record to say that they don't want to do another, like, quote unquote rotation like this. Vanguard is not a rotating game.
it is
They're going to
not.
do everything in their
It's
power to
not built
keep
for
it.
that.
It's not built well. It now that we have Overdress, it technically could, but they
Yeah.
don't want to do that anymore. They want to keep it like this. They understand that this is very widespread.
Mm-hmm.
You're stretching yourself very thin, but they understand it, and so they're gonna do their best. That's a promise.
Yeah, they actually run a business. They know a lot more than we could probably ever hope to, unless
Well,
we start going to school.
here's the other thing too that people aren't keeping in mind. The team, okay, so who they probably got another like a fresh team or something to
Mm-hmm.
work on designing cards for the reboot and everything from start of the reboot to the mermaid set to the latest Bermuda set.
Yeah, Twinkle Melody.
Another foreshadow, Twinkle Melody. So after Twinkle Melody and Sanctuary Guard, excuse me, because those came out on the same day. Oh, they're coming out on the same day.
Yeah, another thing I
I
don't
feel
think
bad
Bushy
for
should do.
Safeguard because it's just going to get overshadowed by mermaids. Um, Past that, there's a new team of card developers who are designing these new cards. So everything from Clan Selections 1 and 2 is a fresh new team.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that during this team may have been around during the last bit of G as well, and that's why things felt rushed and power crept
Ooh,
like heck.
yeah. Chrono Jet.
But they also more Ds and the Zeroth Dragons.
Yeah, but they had to make
Um,
the counter to Geese, which is Chrono Jet Heritage.
yeah, yeah, Chronovisor. Yeah.
Chronovisor Heritage.
Well, it's not quite like a counter, but it's supposed to be like the final form of the protagonist.
Yeah.
And lore-wise, it makes sense.
You thought Aichi had a lot of forms. Oh, go take a look at Chrono real quick.
But like these cards have evolution, and that's really cool. So to go with the nation system, I think the notion that they're going for, Bushiroad is doubling down. That's just the
Yeah.
fact is they're doubling down on everything, and that's perfect.
They're trying to make
That's
this
fine
easier
for
for them to support.
It's easier. It's easier to support. It's easier to produce. It's easier for people to get into. They saw Digimon's the Japanese Digimon start that for $5 and said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, you know what? We'll go $1 less. How about that?
Well, it was like 5,000 or 500 yen, so it's a bit more than $1, but still, you know what I mean.
It's close enough.
It's close enough.
Now, I will say,
Good luck finding those prices for Digimon here in English. Ooh.
can't relate. I was not going to try Digimon, I'll be honest. But that's a topic for another day.
So I think the simple phrase of less is more is going to be shown more throughout Overdress than anything, because yes, you have less things to support, but in that you're actually supporting so much more.
What this feels like, actually, it feels kind of like Buddy Fight, because in Buddy Fight, you had your whole separate worlds, and you have the sub-archetypes within those worlds. With Vanguard now, we have all these nations and the sub-archetypes within those nations.
Yeah, it's like Buddy Fight, but backwards.
Exactly. Just not as many worlds, and hopefully we won't get Star Keter Sanctuary or Darkness Keter Sanctuary.
No, I don't think so, but that would actually be kind of cool.
That would be cool, but it would also be dumb.
Although we are getting extra cool things later, I don't know if they'll come to English. But I know in Japan they confirmed that Monster Strike is getting an Overdress set and deck.
That's cool.
And we see the miraculous return of Sword Boys! Token Rabu! Token Rabu coming back to Vanguard.
Hated Token Rambu.
In Overdress.
Hated Token Rambu when I first played against it.
It was fun. It was fun. So those clubs, I think they're in their own particular nation.
Yeah.
Like their own like collab nation. So
I can see that coming a lot later.
And then Bane Dream is willing to bet Bane Dream's gonna come back in
Hopefully.
Overdress, and Bane Dream's just gonna be the nation, and then I think they probably expand more in card development.
It'd be hilarious if Bane Dream was like the small break off of Bermuda where they then grow into full fishes and they're just actual humans that can sing as well as Bermuda.
I mean, a majority of them voice them, so
yeah.
So again, less is more is I think what they're going for, and there's going to be a lot of options for deck building. Like we see from this the star decks, you know, we kind of have like, okay, here's this bird dragon thing. Here's a guy that looks like he's Spike Brothers.
Here's Gablade.
Here's Gablade, you know, lookalike Bastion. Here's the
Last Guardian as a deck.
The Last Guardian as a deck, and then you got Frill from Buddy Fight.
Yeah.
It's Frill from Buddy Fight. That's all that is.
It's the battle princesses, man.
Battle princesses. Heroines, yes.
That's the Disney I want to see.
That's the... So the idea that... Now, here's another cool thing about the booster itself. The booster coming out, it has its ratios of how many cards are going to be in the set.
Yes.
How many triple rares to commons. And everything divides by 5 perfectly.
Which is how it should be. So, I shouldn't be digging through 6 VRs just to get what I want, Bushy.
Or get, sacked out of, you're not getting a 3rd triple rare because F you. Because we're going to give it Descendant something extra that it doesn't need.
Yeah, no, that ASR for Descendant was not needed at all. I don't know why.
No, the ASR is fine, but my issue was Narukami in the calendar year got support.
Yeah.
So this would be their 2nd calendar year support.
Yeah, definitely do so.
And they got Mighty Bolt as a reprint. So
which is great.
My theory was that they would get 2, Descendant and something else.
Yeah.
That way, Gold Paladin, who hadn't gotten support in the calendar year, could get, we got the Adlavel, we got the Grade 1 Searcher, we could have gotten a really cool Grade 3 of something. It could have been Core.
Shoulda.
It could have been Glare. It could have been Grand Ezel.
Would have taken anything.
Any cool, really interesting support. But they gave it to Narukami. Not to diss Narukami or anything. I respect
No, Narukami is very cool. I love Narukami.
But now that we're going into Overdress, everything divides evenly amongst the 5 clans.
Yeah.
And I think they'll add more cards once they start supporting the 6th nation.
And VRs are gone now. The highest rarity you can get is a triple rare.
Yes, and I think that's great because Chris from Different Fight actually mentioned in one of his videos that VRs were they were good, but they were bad in terms of design because you essentially made the deck revolve around the VR versus the VR working with everything else.
Yeah,
Agravain's a good example of this. I like Agravain. Agravain's a good, well-designed Gold Paladin card. It's very interesting, very unique, but the support around it was a step backwards, aside from Estrad.
Yeah, I'll defend Standard till the day I die, even though I know it can be bad.
It's evolving, but backwards.
The one thing I did notice about Standard is we weren't allowed the same creativity as we were before.
So we were very limited on the card pool in Standard versus Premium.
Yeah, because...
to be fair, that's understandable because...
You can't reprint everything.
you can't reprint everything, and you don't want to print useless cards,
Yeah.
even though that's a majority of what standard is.
Yeah, because the one thing I love about Vanguard is you can build any deck you want, and depending on how you build it, it can beat even some of the supposedly top tier decks. And that was always a great thing about it. But when Standard came along, it kind of take away from that possibility.
So it's this idea there's an illusion of limitless possibility. It's an
Yes,
illusion. Now, what I mean by this is you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance, because we're obviously just going to be comparing this to Yu-Gi-Oh.
it's the only
And, we
comparable
could
game
probably compare it to. Well, we can also try Pokemon too,
in some
but
aspects.
Yu-Gi-Oh is probably easier because there's more people.
Yes.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, you can literally build a deck. You can take 40 random cards, and that's a playable deck. Probably.
Hopefully.
Does it work? Does it work? No, probably not. But at least in Vanguard, then you end up working on the deck, and you kind of fall into the same. That's the one thing I hate about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is their emphasis on archetypes. Don't get me wrong, archetypes are really cool, but I think there's an overabundance of them.
Yeah, they
And then after
definitely
2 years,
tried too much.
after a few years, they don't get supported. I always
Yeah.
bring up X Sabers for some reason. I didn't care for X Sabers, but I keep saying X Sabers because X Sabers were really cool at the time. But now they're like, oh, you got a card, and during,
Arc
you
5.
got, well, I think you got a little bit in Arc 5, but you got the XZ. It's right over here.
Oh,
Invoker.
MX Saber, yes.
Yeah, and X Saber. That ended up getting banned, and it's like, well, is that it? You're not going to support this deck anymore? Wow, it's like Konami is saying, hey, we're not going to support your favorite deck anymore, and we're going to force you to buy new cards so you can keep playing the game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a lot of issues with Yu-Gi-Oh! We can get into.
We're also going to make powerful staples, secret rares, so you have to buy those to compete.
And we're gonna purposely short print them so we can get more money from you.
Although we say that we're not short printing mainline stuff.
Oh, it's a dirty lie.
So we're only short printing the extra sets.
Vanguard players, I don't think we realize how good we have it sometimes.
And so the one issue with Vanguard that I do see people talk about is the limitation of clan.
Yes.
I actually watched a series on YouTube recently. Kodak, I think his name. He does a series called "The Seven Deadly Sins of Card Games."
That sounds interesting.
It's a really interesting series. You can knock it out in a day. And he talks about like these key things that some games do. It's not like if you do this in your game, then it's gonna fail. No, but it's one of those things that hey, you can have this in your game, but here's some examples of how it didn't work. So if you're going to design a game, look at this. And then if you're going to implement something like this, keep in mind that this is one thing that caused something to fail.
Yeah. It's always, like in life, you got to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, he mentioned Vanguard in like episode 3 or 4. I think it was like the life decking episode. Essentially, the idea is you're using your cards as a resource.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you got Counterblast, your Soul Blast, your hand, whatever. But his issue was he brought up the reboot, which, hey, kick us while we're down, why don't you?
Yeah.
Also, he first saw Vanguard when Dragonborn was starting to get promoted.
Ooh, that's weird.
Which also kick us while we're down still. and he didn't like the fact that there was this clan separation because that limited potential deck building. I think that Bushi may have saw this, and that could be one reason why they're like, hey, supporting 24 clans is kind of tough, but what if we made it easier? We can support 6 instead of 24. It's divisible.
Yeah, Tachi players, so we might be able to get something good from them now. I have
Anger Blader is the best.
Anger Blader is dope.
Anger Blader's. It's just sad that Tachi's peaked at Anger Blader.
You know something hilarious? After we did the case split for Phantom Dragon Aeon, I got some of the touch stuff. I have 6 Gaias just sitting in one of my deck boxes.
Poor guy. I feel so bad.
I thought I was going to build him, but after testing, I was like, this is just beyond bad. I can't play this.
But at least now you have that backup grade 3 that's coming out that you're just going to replace with
Yeah,
Angel
yeah,
Blader anyway.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
again, like, the deck options like the options for deck building is gonna be really cool. And what I think will end up happening is as cards come out, we're gonna see the aesthetics of other clans. Like we're gonna see like later on, we'll see hey, here's Royal Paladins and here's Angel Feather cards. Okay. Later we'll see hey, here's some OTT cards and Genesis inspired cards. Here's some Shadow Paladin inspired cards and Gold Paladin inspired cards.
Yeah,
Though they're under one nation, as they release cards, these cards could create new decks underneath it, kind of like creating like a version of clans, but still under the banner of the nation.
I feel like that might be one thing that might hold Overdress back, though, because while they did make it easier to support and definitely simplified it to give us a general wide array of cards to choose from, people will always just start comparing it back to, hey, it's like OTT, hey, it's like Royal Paladin, hey, it's like Kagro. It's just these clans all over again.
What I mean by aesthetic, and I don't mean like, oh, well, these cards are directly from Gold Paladin or Angel Feather. No. I mean like art style. Maybe a little play, maybe just a little bit, but not quite, because it's going to be a blending of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have the best of 6 worlds here.
Well, Dark States gets the best of 4.
Well, United Sanctuary 6, so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just kind of aesthetic-wise, as things progress, we're going to see more variety of decks pop up.
One thing I really hope doesn't happen is, I'm going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. In Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a very big problem with the meta where you cannot play a deck unless you're playing a certain, like, exoskeleton with all the meta cards. Like, hey, you want to play this deck? Well, you got to play all these meta cards, too, to make it work. I really hope Vanguard doesn't fall into that thing where it's like, hey, you want to play this deck? You got to play all these meta cards for it to make it work.
I don't think so, considering how many, high rarity cards each nation's getting in the booster.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to make sure that they have a variety of things as they continue forward. Like, after the first booster, we may see, 2 different versions of a nation deck.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Who knows? And then it'll just increase from there.
I do remember seeing that they did say in the booster, it is going to include a new, type for each nation. A new type of deck for each nation.
A new theme, yes. I did. So what I think will happen is the start decks are one theme.
Mm-hmm.
And the booster's going to not just be a supplementary thing for the new theme and the start deck theme. Well, I mean, yeah. It will support that new theme plus supplementary stuff for the start deck.
Exactly.
So that way there's at least 2 or 3 different variants within the nation. So there is some variety. It isn't like how when Standard started, how it was just the rectangle format where Nova's lost everything.
Novas, we were good at 1 point. 1 point.
I was hoping for Mr. Invincible, and it never happened.
Everyone was. I was just like, oh my god, it's a clan selection. They're gonna bring back Mr. Invincible. This is a hell of a time to bring him back, but
by clan selection, I was like, no, they're not gonna bring Mr. Invincible.
No.
Like a double rare or even a rare, I think would have been fine. Like that was the sole reason I got into Nova Grappler, but here I am with Victor.
I think it is cool we are getting another Beast Deity card, but god, Mr. Invincible, such a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Missed opportunity indeed.
Yeah.
So, and what's cool is they are supporting V twice a year.
Yeah, they're not completely dropping it.
In this calendar year, we'll have Clan Sections 1 and 2, and then we'll have V Collection 1 and 2 later in the year.
Then hopefully we'll get another premium collection somewhere.
I'm hoping so. I hope
We
they add more, like another like 2 different premium collections this year.
just
Like if you're gonna
don't repeat
support the
Zazan.
stand,
That's right, I said it, the forbidden unit.
Zarzan caused so much toxicity in the community. Rightfully so, I may add. It was vigilante justice, but it was just there was a lot of toxicity, like from other people. I may have spread a little bit of that toxicity through my page. If you go to zerodamagegaming.com and look at their playmats, there's a playmat called A Bright Future that features Zarzan tied up to a post being lit on fire.
That's
It's a witch hunt.
It's morbid.
It's very morbid, but it was that point across that Zarzan would have ruined what was going to be a really good premium set. So, like, premium itself has nearly limitless potential. Nearly. And I say nearly because of the actual limitations of how the game is structured.
Yeah.
Because of the nation separation, or the no clan mixing, no nation mixing, that sort of deal.
Thank God.
That's where that illusion of infinite possibility comes in. In my notes, I just wrote C plan nation system. It's like dual plan, but better.
Yeah, I'll take that. Now,
dual plan, but better.
For I believe the final topic I want to talk about during this whole video. I know this video has been kind of all over there. I'm sure it'll look better once I get this shortened down.
It might be over an hour at this point, but that's
we're at an hour and 23 minutes right now, so probably. But I'll say right now, if you're still watching this video, thank you, regardless if you're using this background noise or not. Either way, it supports me.
And I have something special for you guys who watched all the way to this point.
Oh yeah.
Remember how I mentioned Zero Damage Gaming? So look at their selection of playmats, see which one you like. Yeah, they're a little pricey, but when you go to checkout, you can put in my promo code Ezel Senpai, all one word, all in caps, into the promo code thing, and get yourself 10% off your whole order.
10% off. I can't think of a better deal. That whole detail will be linked in the description below. I'll even leave a link to the shop. Hopefully, if I don't forget, because I've had a habit of forgetting.
I don't get anything from it except satisfaction.
Yeah.
Although I did get a free playmat when I got my promo code, but like after that, it's just like I just believe in a good playmat, and I will shout it out as much as I can, because like Zero Damage Gaming playmats are really good. They're high quality, and they're from Solemn Vanguard, so it's like it's so cool.
And if Zero Damage Gaming, if you want to shout out your boy here, give me my own little sponsorship to do, I will gladly take whatever I can get. But aside from all that, sponsorships aside, the last and final point I want to talk about is, and if you haven't, even if you've been following along and you haven't guessed it, I want to talk about the new anime, the new Overdress anime coming along, which I think will be amazing.
Code Geass 5Ds on motorcycles.
Code Geass 5Ds.
No, it's done by Studio Clamp, which has done Code Geass and a couple of other anime, and then it's being animated by
remembering new names are hard.
Citrus, I don't remember the name, but they animated Rising of the Shield Hero.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch that actually.
Yo, it's good. It's good.
I kept seeing people give it. I'm very bad when it comes to watching anime because I say I'll do something and I'll either never do it or I'll do nothing but it. And it's usually the first one.
It's do or do not. There is no try.
There is no try. Or if I do try, I'll get distracted by something else.
So the anime, okay, so first off, the anime looks really good. It looks crisp. They obviously took their time to get this animation company to make something very high quality.
Yeah, this is not your average. This is not the average Vanguard where the blue hair little Shota boy is gonna come in and wreck everyone. Except wait, it might actually is because we have a new blue haired Shota coming in with his clan.
We got Yu.
We've got
not
Yu.
not to be confused with Yu, who is Yuzu from Art V Dubs. Ew. No, for real.
He was the
Her name
rejected.
is Yu in the dub.
It's like
and her name is
Yuzu.
Yuzu in the dub and sub, and it's like, why didn't you go with that?
Exactly. Then there's Yuya, there's Yuto, Yugo, Yuri.
Well, okay. Those kind of make sense because it falls into a theme.
Yuri on ice.
Damn, I shouldn't be laughing at that. That's fine. So now in exchange for such a high quality animation project, it's not going to be a continuous, like, ongoing show. It's going to be a seasonal anime.
Yeah.
12 episodes in the first season, 13 episodes into the second season. Both seasons will air this year. And I feel like they did the same thing with Bang Dream seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah.
A couple of years back.
And if watching earlier animes have taught me anything, for some reason it's always the shorter ones that are the best.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have minded if they had gone the whole 25.
I definitely wouldn't mind either. I'm just happy we're getting something, honestly.
I mean, If was fine. If was okay.
If was a fever dream.
If was full of memes, and I appreciate it. It was full of meme material. Yo, anytime there was Blonde Ezel on screen, I'm just screenshotting every possible frame.
Even the frames where he got his ass kicked by Percival and
Aquaman. Where got kicked. Yo, I freaking made a meme where Ezel got kicked by Percival, and he fell into the intro for the Digimon anime reboot. With the whole digital thing in the background, it was so funny. Follow me on Twitter. That information will be in the description below at Ezel Senpai.
Oh my god! I'll leave all your links at the end. Don't worry. But with the new characters and the new art style, and hopefully, as much as I love Aichi, Kai, and all the nostalgia, hopefully they won't use them as selling points anymore, and they'll be able to move on with someone new.
I don't think they will. I think so. We've had enough nostalgia baiting.
Yeah.
Because that's the term we've been using for a while. And like, nostalgia's fine, but it has to be done in small doses. Like, the whole reboot was meant to. The idea was to make the game easier for players and easier to get into and simpler to play. But I think the team behind the anime and behind the card development were just mismanaged. Like, the best season from the reboot was Cinnamon. Hands down.
I know people liked it. I am not saying I didn't like it, but it's not my favorite.
So, the reason why I say the Cinnamon arc is the best is it was an original story.
It was. That was definitely great to see.
It was okay. So back in G, there was like a 2-episode flashback episode of Shin when he was younger, teaming up. Like, it's still the same team, teaming up with going with Ryozu, because he was playing Great Nature at the time.
Yeah.
This is before he found Gear Chronicle.
Just to show everyone, Gear Chronicle is a disease.
Citation needed. Gear Chronicle may have saved Vanguard. Like, Gear Chronicle saved Vanguard. That's the whole lore of this new thing.
Yeah, because they were all saved by this hero and happened to be Gear Chronicle.
Yeah, and Gear Chronicle, yes. So it was really interesting because Shin played Murakumo of all things.
Yes.
Like, Shin played Murakumo, which is weird because we never saw him fight in the original series.
You wouldn't have expected it.
So, and it was like, oh, okay, so we're just trying to promote, Murakumo's clan. Okay, let's have Shin fight, because why not?
Yeah, he's like the one character we've never shown fight.
Chrono's dad played bad Tachikaze.
I forgot he was the guy who played Tachikaze. I thought it was a filler character who played Tachikaze.
He played bad Tachikaze.
He played what did he play? He played Ancient Dragons?
No, he played Death Rex.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Ugh, ugh. The hell, man.
and like uh, Chaos Death Wreck.
Yeah, Nova Grappler is a good change for him.
Oh, for sure. So like when the Shinamon arc appeared, like because like the whole thing about those two particular episodes was it was meant to be a flashback of beforehand. But what was weird was this is before the original series, yet they have access to strides and G guards. That's a what?
Yeah, that did mess up the
What?
timeline just a tiny bit.
There's other theories behind it, but that's not for this video.
Yeah, that whole other topic. I'm just gonna say one thing: multiverse theory.
Shuka merged the multiverse the multiverses that matter.
Sorry, Unionverse.
Oh no! I wanted Universe.
The thing's on our B. Just like how we'll never get full about Revenger, Bushy Road. Don't hide a Revenger from me. I want it.
If anything, I wouldn't mind seeing Judge Bao come back. Judge Bao Revenger.
That too. Just give me more Revengers. And more Liberators.
These episodes are supposed to give some background clarity between the relationship between Ryuzu and Rai.
Yeah.
And kind of set up that connection between Chrono and Chrono Dran. I mean, it was okay. It was fine. But it left a lot to be desired because it was only those 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was also...
The Shinamon arc made sense in terms of the reboot. It made sense that the reason why Shin played Genesis was because Akira Ito was like, I couldn't figure out a way to write Genesis in the original manga. For reals.
I mean, I understand where he had the trouble, but I feel like I could have done it. I don't think it was hard.
So, I mean, if they had brought Daigo in, maybe, but at least Shin being a main character was really interesting. Because we didn't know much about his past aside from those 2 episodes.
Yeah, because all you knew is like, hey, he was there when Misaki's parents got kicked the bucket and took over raising Misaki.
Yeah. They got into a car crash and causing Misaki's memory thing to trigger.
And she basically became Batman.
Whether she liked it or not.
Whether she liked it or not. Look, you don't choose the anime life. The anime life chooses you.
I mean, at least it wasn't a truck and you get isekai.
And unfortunately, it always includes losing your parents. Except Aichi. Aichi still has a mom.
We don't know where his dad is, but who cares?
Nah, who needs a dad when you got Kai?
So the Shinamon arc served a lot of different purposes. The Shinamon arc served as a backstory to how Shin got Card Capital.
Yeah.
Raising Misaki, his original team, and all that. Then you've got Eska, who is just this original new character who is related to Dastiel's host. Which is amazing because it's like, oh, you connected it to not just the reboot story, but you also are connecting it to G. Oh my gosh, you're connecting it to G. That's so good. And then you see baby Chrono. You see Chrono's mom alive for a few episodes.
That's all you get from her. You just know she's breathing.
Well, okay, like she does die.
Yeah.
She had died prior to G starting.
Then his dad gets sucked into Cray.
So, but like the first part of it, of the Shinamon arc, was just Shin playing and trying to get Card Capital to run it for his brother, to take care of it for Misaki and all that stuff. And then we get into the Gear Chronicle arc, and that was just the perfect way to tie in. Like you get these other characters from G. You got Kenzaki, Ryuga, and
Ryuga, love him.
And Ryoma, and it's like, oh, okay, hey, you got Claret Sword. Oh, hey, there's Valios who isn't Valios yet, and then you vanquish her. Okay, cool. We get to see these units from G appear before G. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice way to just not only reference G, but also tie up some loose ends that people might have forgotten about, and it also helped people understand the bigger world of Vanguard before the reboot came along. Because we didn't. I'm
Yeah.
sure people just joined in the reboot didn't know these characters, and now they got to experience them in a somewhat different way, but still in a way you would know them.
Yes. Yes. 'Cause just if you didn't recognize Kanzaki as Dio, you have a problem.
The one thing that always bothered me, I'm sure there's a simple answer for this, but the one thing that always bothered me about showing Shin fighting as younger, you would think he would step in during maybe even the LJ arc, where it's like, huh?
So now, to be fair,
the kids probably need help.
So there is kind of a simple answer, and I've already given you the explanation. So while the anime was going, the manga was unfinished.
Yes.
So there are elements from the anime that did make it into the manga, the Sequoia zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the reference to the reverse fighters.
Yeah, that's as good as we got. Honestly, I would prefer just to call them reverse again.
At the time, Shin wasn't a player at the time. And, Genesis was given to Misaki. It could have easily gone to Shin. Could have easily. But it made sense that Misaki try a new deck, because Aiki tried a new deck, Kai tried a new deck. It just makes sense. And Kamui's the only one who didn't really deck hop.
Kamui is the only one, unless you want to count his reverse unit, he's the only one who didn't change.
Well, the reverse unit was still Nova Grappler.
It was still Nova Grappler, yeah. He was like, man, I found something that works. I'm going to stick with it. I don't know about y'all.
Exactly. That's why I'm excited for FX Buster's reveal here coming up within the next week or so.
Oh, yeah. We still got so much of the clan selection left to go. It was crazy.
Yeah. So the Shinamon arc was able to connect not just the normal era, the original era, give backstory to Shin, but also connect very well to G and explain why Chrono is Chrono.
Yeah.
And his connection with Chrono Duran, and why he's the Singularity, why he has the plot armor, and what ends up actually happening to his dad.
As I've said before, you don't choose the anime life.
The anime life chooses, like Rive ended up going to Cray.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened. We're going to assume he came back somehow. We're going to assume he came back.
Yeah, because in the little, I guess, quote-unquote, final episode, it showed Chrono in a rocket about to fly off and go rescue his dad.
After the fight with Deez, Chrono wanted to become an astronaut. Because he wanted to go to Planet Cray and meet all the waifus and crit triggers.
Fair enough.
His dad was on Earth. Just in the desert somewhere.
But I thought he was on Cray because at the end of the...
In the Shinamon arc, yes.
Okay.
That's why, at the end of the Shinamon arc, everyone was like, oh, well, Rive may be dead. But in G, he was just in some desert across the planet that has a strong connection with Cray.
Yeah.
And he calls Ibuki every so often. He's like, hey, did you get those gear console cards I sent you? Yes. Go put them in my son's locker. Okay.
I was like, why your son eyes? And he's like, trust me on this. I have a plan.
And If actually goes, the first episode of If actually goes into that in a bit more detail. Except instead of Rive giving Ibuki the deck, it was Shuka that gave him the deck.
Yeah, that's interesting. As someone who didn't watch If, because I thought it was just stupid, it still is.
Honestly, so it is, but it is full of memes, and it's full of interesting moments.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could probably just knock it out in a day. The first 12 episodes are, Villain of the Week, so it's kind of stupid. By episode 13, you learn, oh, the Villains of the Week? Oh, that's because of Ren being stupid. And then we learn more about Aichi and what ends up happening with him. Then things really, I think, kinds of coming in at episode 18 or something. And then he becomes the main character for a little bit. And then by episode 20, that's where things really kick into 11th gear.
I just remember hearing there are no card fights, and I instantly lost interest.
So there aren't. So there's half a card fight at the end.
Oh, yes.
The idea is
half a card fight.
They wanted to try half a card fight, which mirrored the first episode of the reboot. Spoiler. but it's Emmy playing. But there's a lot of interesting moments, especially with, because they'll go. So there's these bad guys called jammers, and they're like, oh hey, we're gonna mess up the timeline. we want to make sure Vanguard doesn't exist because Aichi said so.
Yeah, because
whatever the reason.
It turned out it was just Shingo and the others just dressed up. Not even good
because
enough.
of the jammers, Emmy and Shuka are magical girls. They're able to fight. Shuka's able to summon cards, and Emmy's able to make them realize or appear real in the world, have a physical form, which is really cool. And she ends up summoning like Chronojet Dragon in like one of the first episodes, and you just see Chronojet Dragon just punch the bad guy, and it's just like, dude. And then seeing it in the next episode team up with Blaster Blade is just like, yes. So you don't see card fights, but you see fights with the units on the card.
It's like the Dragon Ball Heroes of Vanguard.
Sorta.
It's just fan service.
Like there's an episode where they end up summoning Alter Ego Messiah.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, one day you're gonna go into my deck. like EBT's like, yo, I challenge you to a card fight, and they're like, what are you doing? This guy's gonna blast you with lasers. But we solve all of our problems with card fights, all of them.
I remember seeing that.
So it brings into question if it like puts into question the logic of everything's solved by a card fight. Why?
We have weapons.
How?
Why don't we use those?
We have magical girls. We have powers. We don't need to play a card.
We have literal things that will hurt you. We don't need to hurt your pride as well.
Psycholia ends up being more overpowered than originally, there.
Oh god.
So, look, I'd say go watch it, but essentially what ends up happening is eventually we figure out what happens with Aichi. Aichi is the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah.
Again.
Because he gets sad because Kai's gone.
No. Well, yes and no. Aichi was the main bad guy again.
Because
he was the bad guy in Legion Mate.
Yes, he was.
So, this brings back to what you were saying about multiverse theory. In some reality, there's a version of Aichi that never met Kai and got Blaster Blade.
Okay.
So he kept continuing to get bullied. He didn't get strong. He just was weak. But he somehow knew of Kai but didn't know of Kai. Like it was like a passing thing.
All right.
I don't entirely remember all the particular details of it. But basically, Takuto appears out of nowhere with Korin.
Because why not?
Korin was just... Because why not? Takuto causes a lot of problems.
Really does, that bastard.
So when Takuto meets up with him, Takuto somehow activates Aichi's Psycholia that he's always had.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is he remembers everything. He remembers Korin. He knows who Korin is. He knows who Kai is. He knows what Vanguard is. He just knows. Now, this particular Aichi's aware of all of his versions.
Yeah.
At the time. So this version of Aichi is an Aichi that never knew Vanguard, but also got corrupted by Psycholia, just like he did in the original series when he got introduced to Shadow Paladin.
Oh, okay.
But also felt the bearing responsibility of the seed from Legion Mate.
Jesus Christ. Just taking all the problems.
This version of Aichi took all of the other past issues of Aichi and just condensed them into one, wearing Monarch Sanctuary Alfred's outfit.
That's a lot of baggage.
It is. It is baggage. It is a hell of a lot of baggage. Aichi just wants to get rid of Vanguard so Kai can be happy.
Right.
But there seems to be more to it, and Aichi's apparently able to manipulate people's memories.
Oh shit, okay.
Just like he did in Legion Mate. Because Why not?
Yeah, because they had the whole
At least the castle
judgmental.
in the woods. At least the castle in the woods makes more sense than a moon base on the moon.
It makes sense. The moon thing makes sense. They're aliens, Robert. What more do you want from them?
There's no oxygen.
They make the oxygen.
How are they breathing? How are they breathing?
They're a part of Cray. They literally just took a part of Cray, made a little castle, put it on the moon because that was closest to Earth, and kept the oxygen.
Because why not? Why not? Why not? Logic.
You want to get confusing things in anime? Where do we start?
So Emmy is like, well, I want Aichi to come home. I don't know what's wrong with him. And she learns about Vanguard and all of its wonderful things. And throughout the course of it, she's like, I kind of want to play.
Yes.
So at the end,
enough summoning units. Let's actually play the game.
But when other characters come in, they're able to quote unquote transform into units with the help of Shuka and Emmy.
Okay.
So you see Kai end up transforming into Blaster Blade.
Oh, that's my favorite look.
Which is amazing. Then you see like Miwa turn into Ashura Kaiser because he plays Novas.
I mean, I guess
it should have been Spinning Valiant.
It really should have been Spinning Valiant.
And then as Kai becomes this main character, but he picks up the end, and he transforms into the end. He turns into Overlord. He turns into the end, and then he finally turns into the Cross.
Because that's how we're gonna highlight the card.
Because that's how you're highlighting the card. And it's done in such an epic way. It's just like, oh, there it is! There it is! There's the thing!
We never thought we'd see it, but it's here.
And then, there's so many interesting moments. Go watch it. Just watch it. Just turn your brain off and watch it.
I will indeed try.
There's a scene with the Dark Irregular guy.
Tetsu?
Yeah, him. No, not Tetsu. Not Tetsu. Although there's a lot of funny scenes with Tetsu. That's just, amazing.
Magical Girl Tetsu?
Guy. Oh.
Let's not forget that.
I'm not considering
I know who you're talking about.
The one in the club.
Nakamura? I don't know.
Yeah, that guy. The guy that has Master of Fifth Element.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I will definitely
guy.
put a picture of him on screen.
Iru, I think.
I don't remember. He was such a filler character.
The weeb edgelord guy. Him.
Yeah.
So he meets up with Emmy in one episode, and he is like, you know what? I am aware that there's 3 different versions of me that exist. I have the memories of 3 different me's. I remember standing on this rooftop having a card fight with somebody, and the wind was blowing in such a way. And then I remember...
Was it Leon?
It was Leon. It was a reference to that fight.
I don't remember them fighting. Then what the hell did I miss?
It was a quick episode.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
It was like a 1-part episode, or one fight episode.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I think it showed off Tetra Drive at first, probably.
Maybe.
But the fact that Reboot, this guy, Weeb Edgelord, remembered something from another timeline before the reboot. That was interesting. Then he remembered a little bit of his life during the reboot arc with the high school arc and stuff like that. And then the If version of himself. Cool. And then there's Suiko, who ends up picking up the book and is like, oh, according to this book, I gave Aichi a King Knight's Alfred. I don't remember this, but this book says I did. So
it must be true.
It must be true, and she transforms into Alfred.
Oh, I remember seeing that screenshot. That left me confused.
She transforms into Alfred to fight Korin Ezel, and it is just amazing because it's like it's symbolic because both of those particular units were Aichi's avatar at one point or another.
They were both given to him by those people.
By them. Rekka's the only one that has not given Aichi a card.
To be fair, I don't think I don't
We'll
think
just
it's
wait
like
for the next reboot.
yeah, I don't think. God, no, Bushy, that's a joke. That's a joke.
No!
Please.
That's a joke. Kitani, you promised.
God, I don't think it's because they don't like to use Rekka. I just don't think they don't know how to use Rekka.
Yeah.
They just shoved her with Emmy and said we'll call it a day.
Well, I think they used her in the reboot more effectively, and in
definitely
more effectively.
Because I believe she was the first Psyqualia zombie.
She was one of them, yeah.
Yeah, who turned
She wasn't
Kyo.
the first, but she was one of them, yeah.
Yeah, turned Kyo, turned a bunch of randoms.
Because all the sisters became spreaded the Psyqualia zombie.
Yeah, because they were supposedly, I believe they called them walkers.
Because Takudu was the walkers. They're walkers. Welcome back to The Walking Dead.
Welcome back. They were zombies. I mean, they did quite literally call them zombies.
Yeah. So, and I think Rekka was okay. Like, she's paired up with Ren in If, and I think their dynamic is very interesting.
Oh, yeah, because it's like just two of probably the most weirdest characters in the series. Just chilling.
Exactly. Just chilling. So, I have high hopes for... Because we've done way off topic.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
But I do have high hopes for Code Geass 5Ds on motorcycles. The Vanguard anime.
I'm definitely excited to see our new Blue Boy in action. And have him stand with the greats.
All the characters look very good. I think the blonde guy who plays the Sanctuary Clan, Keter Sanctuary, is going to be a dick, but he's going to be one of those like jerks that you're like, okay, you're a jerk, but you're a good jerk.
You're a dick, but I like that you are. It's like he seems like that overly confident character who will go through that whole.
I really, really would love that Bermuda Triangle is an antagonist clan.
Oh, I've heard that theory. It is amazing.
I'm hoping. I really, really want them to be like if it's the antagonist of the series, like a human, but playing Bermuda is great.
Hey man, if we were able to get Pale Moon and Grand Blue as sword antagonists during G, I don't think it's impossible.
I mean, if you look at the new map, the pink area was supposed to be for Bermuda, and that got blown up by Geese. Geese and Shrapnels, hit all the mermaids, and they ended up going into the void.
You got Starvader mermaids.
For 3,000 years. They're coming back. Loris is here for revenge. Where was I in the reboot? So the reason I say 5Ds is just because the Tether Nation, how it's described,
sounds like the satellite and the Domino City, Neo Domino
City.
Yeah.
It's like you got the high class living up there in the high sky, and everyone else is looking up.
Yeah, you got the low class. $5 says it's where Shadow Paladin comes from. But we'll have to see.
I on one hand, I want that to be the case, but at the same time, I don't think so, because not all Shadow Paladin is bad. Shadow Paladin did cause a lot of issues. I mean, Blaster Dart caused the Civil War. Player Sword caused the Civil War.
There were just a lot of Civil Wars.
Luar got possessed by Geese. Or the Vessel of Geese.
Because why not?
Because... why not? Because it wasn't Chrono, so... Like, oh, okay. Luar.
So, next best thing. What are we going to do? Take Shion? No.
Yo! I'll show you, brave.
How brave are you now?
Yo, my hand's empty at the start of my turn. I get to stride for free.
No. No.
No. So, Overdress anime looks really good.
Really excited, really hyped.
There are a few returning voice actors whose names I don't remember at the moment.
We're getting Roselia back for music? Mm.
Because of all the doubling down, they're not new songs.
Yeah.
They're
still.
existing songs that you can go listen to right now, I'm assuming.
But still, it's Rosalia.
And
Still great.
honestly, like, the reason why Vanguard was able to last so long is because they have Rosalia singing the openings versus Buddy Fight, where they had Pop and Party.
Don't get me wrong. Don't think I've forgotten about Jam Project. Jam Project's good too.
Yo, Jam, great.
Love them so much.
So yeah, that's it. That's everything.
Overdress. That's our thoughts on Overdress.
That's our thoughts on Overdress. Overdress, good.
Overdress is great. I'm really excited. Give me
you
my
know,
Spike
you could
Brothers
probably
stick.
just you can leave a timestamp to just this moment and just be like,
It's like
our thoughts on Overdress. Get to this time.
If you want the overall thoughts on Overdress, we like it. Simple as that. We were ready to get hurt, honestly. I was going in this wanting to hate it, but I
was cautiously optimistic. I was literally Michael Scott, ready to date again. I'm like, I am ready to get hurt again, no question about it.
It's like just rip the Band-Aid off.
Let's do this. I had low expectations, cautiously optimistic, and so the cool thing about the interesting thing about these new changes, and I'm not just talking about for Overdress, but when the reboot happened.
Yeah.
The question that everybody was asking was, what more can they do next?
That's always the question, and they keep asking that question. It's like, what more can they do? Then you go back, you see limit break, you see break rides, you see strides, you see G guards, you see imaginary gifts. I don't think they'll ever run out of ideas.
But the idea is, the question itself is flawed.
Yeah.
What more can they do next?
That's worth it.
And in both cases, it wasn't a matter of doing more.
It was more or less just doing better.
It was doing less. What can we effectively do better? Less is more.
Yeah. Like the whole synopsis behind Dragon Ball, less is more. But yeah, that has been our discussion about Overdress and a lot of other things, which, who knows, I might just take that and put it into another video for all you guys know. I might just do a little mind trick.
You leave this in RAW.
Yeah.
You can just leave it in RAW, and if people watch all the way to the end, good job. Pat yourself on top.
You get that 10% off in case you didn't miss it. In case you missed it the first time we talked about it.
Zero Damage Gaming. Go pick out a playmat. Put in my promo code Ezel Senpai. You get 10% off your whole order.
And
supply a bunch.
And sponsor me, Zero Damage Gaming. But yeah, thank you to my friend Robert, aka Ezel Senpai, who has joined me for this talk. It was really great. Just throwing ideas back and forth and having a fun little chat. It was nice to do.
Yeah.
Human
interaction.
COVID sucks. Oh wait, I can't say that. Otherwise YouTube will take down videos.
19
Bermuda 19 sucks. If you do want to go and support Ezel Senpai, you can find him on Twitch at www.twitch.com/EzelSenpai, or is it? I don't know how you find it. Just go to Twitch and type in Ezel Senpai. You should find him. If there's another Ezel Senpai, we have a problem.
If there's another Ezel Senpai, I'm gonna be married.
If you want to follow on Twitter, just look up Ezel Senpai.
To make sure I branded myself correctly. No, like, you follow me on Twitter at Ezel Senpai, and on Facebook, Ezel Senpai, and Patreon
as Ezel Senpai. I'm pretty sure if you look on Reddit, you could find him too as Ezel Senpai.
Yes. But don't look at the feeds I follow.
Look,
they're just memes.
Look, he's branding himself correctly. I named myself Vanguard Wonder. Do you know how ambiguous that is?
I've got no comment. I have no joke there. That's what she said.
That's what she said. Why not? A nice little office joke. But let me know what you guys think of Overdress. Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Are you cautious like everyone probably should be? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you watched throughout this, thank you, and please leave a like at the end of the video. If you did leave a like, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button, don't forget the notification bell that you get notified every time I upload a new video. So stay tuned.
Just push the button.
Just push buttons. I don't care any buttons. Push. You see that big red X on the top right corner of your screen? Press that. Thank you. But
after you press all the other buttons.
Yeah, press all the buttons I mentioned first, then press that X. Then go to sleep, because you probably have a bad sleep schedule, like most of us.
Shut up. I only got 5 hours of sleep last night because I could not go to sleep because I was so damn hyped for Overdress.
I feel that. I just want to play Vanguard. I was like, I have no one to play. I can play myself, but what's the fun in that? What's the fun in that?
That's what she said.
God damn it. I walked into that one too.
Or he said, no judging.
There's no judging. We don't judge here. Live and let live is what I say. Who's texting me? Oh. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video where we open Pandora's box. Wink, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge, wink. I don't know.
Stay safe.
Stay
humble.
Wear your damn
face
masks.
mask.
We'll see you later.
Do it.